Mark Davis is a loving father. He's a loving husband. But the way I knew him, and I'm sure many of the people in here knew him, is as a coach and as a principal. First of all, as a coach, Coach Davis won 6 state championships, and he had an 861 percentage, which for many of you wives and sisters and daughters out there, 861 percentage means out of 1,000 games, he would win 860 of them, which is very, very unheard of and very impressive. And the way I knew him was very personal, actually. A lot of people don't have a relationship with their head coach or with their principal the way that I did. And Coach Davis, we had just a very tight relationship, like a father and like a son, like a best friend. There were bumps in the road. I can remember a certain story in my sophomore year where my first game, actually, I caught a ball and I shot off the side of the backboard. It was my very first shot in LCA history. It was off the side of the backboard. And I was a sophomore year starter. I was a new guy coming in, and I'm starting now. And so that didn't really go smoothly with a lot of the guys on the team, but we worked through it, and we became best friends. But like I said, my first shot was off the side of the backboard. I won the starting spot. A lot of people felt undeservingly because I was the new guy, and there was my first shot. So he pulled me out to the side, and he squatted down at me, and he could tell how nervous I was, and I was shaking like crazy. My hands were sweating, and he just looked at me and goes, "It's just a game. It's just a game. Just play the game." So I went in. I scored 13 points, and he still remembers that to this day, and so do we. We talk about it. But and then another thing my sophomore year was I got the starting position. I was trying to keep it, and in comes this tall black kid. He's sitting over there, Caleb Boykin, comes in and has 3 practices with us and takes my starting spot. And that was not a very good time for me. But 2 or 3 games into it, Caleb broke his leg. Thank you, Caleb, for breaking your leg. And I got my starting spot back. We went to the Final Four. We lost to that other team down the road. And but we recovered together, and we excelled together, and we won together, which was really awesome, just as a coach. And the love was always there. That's one thing he always wanted to really put out there, was that he loved us. You know, he loved us all like we were his sons, and we could go to him with anything. And my senior year really was when it hit the peak of our relationship. Anyways, my senior year, it became a father-son relationship. It became very tight, and we became extremely close. I was his senior captain, and he was my head coach, and we had a love for each other. And the way our captainship works is that really we run the practice, and he kind of adds in stuff, and he's still the head man. He just tells us, tell them this or tell them that. He gives us an opportunity to lead, which a lot of coaches don't do. And I really am thankful for that, because not many captains get an opportunity to really stick their head out there and tell and be able to lead. And he really gave us that opportunity. And like I said, he became really tight in the fact that we could go to him with anything. My sophomore year, I was actually dating his niece, Katie Bostic, and that was kind of a weird thing, but I actually felt comfortable with him, and we would actually talk about it, and I could go to him with stuff. And after it ended, he was sad, and I was sad, and we talked about it together, which was kind of funny. But but as a coach, he always impacted us as people more than he did as players, and he would tell us to go impact others, and I really love that. Like, he would impact us, we would take that impact, and then we would go impact others. My sophomore year, the end of my sophomore year, we went to Haiti on a mission trip. And he always made sure we knew that basketball was just a game. It wasn't life. It's one of the ways that he made money, and it wasn't his life. First he was a husband, and he was a father, and he was a pastor, and he was a principal, and then he did something as a hobby, just to impact us. And I love that. He said that if any one of these guys leave the locker room not knowing Jesus or not being closer to Jesus, then he's failed as a basketball coach. And I really love that was his first goal before any championship, before any game, was to lead us closer to Jesus and make us become better men. And that's what I'm really thankful for, to come through him. And that's his legacy to me. Well, that will be his impact. In the hallway, you see him coming down the hallway, and you weren't afraid of him. It was, "Hey, Mr. Davis," or "Hey, Coach Davis," and he would hug you, and he would give you a high five, and he would just show love to you. There was not one person who was just afraid to come to him. There was, he was a principal and he was a man of authority, and so you had that respectful fear, but you weren't afraid of him. You weren't afraid of him. And that's what I really love, because as a principal and as a head coach, not many guys have that, and not many kids have that. Not many schools have that, and we've been blessed to have that. And expectation was another thing in his life. As long as Coach Davis was at the reins, we were expected to win. As long as Coach Davis was at the reins, as being a principal, we were expected to be a great school. We were expected to be a school that impacted the community for Jesus and for other people. We were supposed to love people, and as a team, we were always expected to love people and be the best sportsmen, and to impact the community and impact the world. And that's not something that you have out of teams. That's not something a head coach shows. That's not one of his goals as a basketball team, is to impact the community, impact the world. And so, Coach Davis, I just want to thank you for being the man that you are. I want to thank you for being the second father that I needed, and I thank you for being the coach that we needed and the principal that this place needed. And I just want to thank you for all your years of service and all the love that you've shown and the impact that you've had in our lives and the impact that you've let us show to others. And I love you. And thank you.